So, good morning. Thank you for joining me. I am sitting down with Elizabeth Yerecic, and we are going to be talking about her journey as a young manager. So, first things first, what was your journey to ending up at your family company?
So my journey was a little bit more indirect than my siblings that are here working with us right now. When I went to college, I started out as a major in political science and Spanish because I wanted to be a prosecutor. And then,
That's
yep,
different.
yep. I enjoyed the law. I enjoyed history and political science, so that made sense for me. And then I was about 2 years in, and I did an internship, two at the same time. I did one with the district attorney's office, and then I did an official one with the sales team here at Yerecic Label. And that was when I kind of made my switch, and I decided that I wanted to come into the company full time after graduation. So I decided to change my major, and I changed to business and Spanish as a dual degree, and that's kind of when the switch happened. So I didn't exactly know going into college that this was where I was going to end up. But I think that that journey was important for me to take and kind of find out for myself that that was what I wanted to do.
Yeah. How's your Spanish?
It's good. It's good. I studied abroad only for about, I wish I could have done it longer. I only did about a 6-week program right outside Madrid. Um,
Oh,
but
lovely.
yeah, I was a college athlete. I cheered at Pitt. So I didn't have the opportunity to be able to go and
For a
leave
full
for
semester,
a
yeah.
full semester. So I took advantage of what I could and I went in the summer. So I really loved that experience.
Oh, that's amazing. Me and Duolingo are going strong on Spanish.
A lot of people are using Duolingo during the pandemic. I think that's a great idea. I really want to learn another language. When I went to Pitt, part of doing their major as a Spanish major is you have to take Portuguese classes.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah, so I know a little bit of Portuguese, and I really liked that language, but I'd love to learn Italian a little bit better. I can understand it when I read it, a little bit when I listen to it, but I'd like to learn Italian.
Well, when travel opens up, I think a trip is in your future. Like the baby moons or whatever they're called, you can just wiggle on over.
Oh yeah.
So was there any expectation to join your family company? Sounds like
No.
you didn't have any.
No, and that's because it there was never pressure. And I think that's something really great that my parents always excelled at, was that making sure that we landed where we were passionate about in our career, because that's what it's all about. You want your kids to be happy, and that was really important to them to be doing what was going to make them passionate. And also because if you come to the company and you're not passionate about it, then that isn't a good thing for anyone involved. It's
Right.
not good for you. It's not good for the company. So I think that that was really important, that there wasn't that pressure placed on me, because I was able to organically kind of come to that solution, that that was where my future was going to lie.
Yeah. So what is your family involvement currently? Are your siblings involved? Is your father still involved?
Yes. So Art, my father, he's our president, and my sister Kristen is our marketing director, and my brother Josh is our production manager. He oversees all three shifts. He's the second in charge in production. And then I'm obviously involved as well on the sales side. So it's kind of a little bit split where we have everything covered. So me and my sister are more on the front end of it. My brother's on the back end. And then my grandma is actually involved as well, Janie.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, she still comes in once a week. So she's in her 80s, very healthy. And she comes in when Kristen joined the company full time after college. One of her kind of initiatives was to bring my grandma back to the company and help her out. So she helps with marketing materials for the sales team, and I love seeing her. I'm really close to my grandma, same with all of our family.
Yeah.
So it's funny, 3 generations under one roof. That's a really fun part about being here.
Yeah, and very like a unique aspect of things. I don't think most companies can boast 3 generations. Maybe two, but not three.
Yeah, we'll see if she's still here when we have the next generation coming. Maybe we can get 4 going. I know she'll stay as long as she can.
That would be a feat. Let L&L know if that happens. So what was your career progression to get to this point? Like, what did you join the company as, and what is the current position you hold now?
So I still hold the position that I joined the company as a key account manager. That is the position that we name all of our sales account managers as.
Okay.
Um, yes, so I oversee a lot of our bigger local uh, accounts, and then I also work in the Midwest as well. But my travel isn't really limited to that. The reason why I kind of focus locally is so that I can give that bigger attention and kind of be around my family a little bit more, because we do have reps spread out all over the country. But I also am able to travel. Well, prior to COVID, my travel really spanned the entire country, because we really focus a lot on immersing ourselves within our industry. So we go to a lot of trade shows when they existed. And then I would go to a lot of different kind of industry events and organizations as the thought leader kind of member of our team. So my travel really could be anywhere from California to Florida to Texas. So my responsibilities kind of span a little bit of a bigger territory than that, being a bit more of a representative in terms of kind of the fresh industry that we serve, as well as the print industry that we serve, going to TLMI events. And then about 2 years ago, we started a structure to our company where we introduced formal cross-functional teams. And me and both of my siblings lead a team each. So I lead the product development cross-functional team here. So that was added to my title as well.
So what are the cross-functional teams? What is their purpose?
So the structure of that is to give a little bit more continuity to the lean management that we practice here. So a portion of lean management is having continuous improvement projects. So you might have heard of them as Kaizens before, where you pull together a cross-functional team, so interdepartmental, and you focus on any type of issue that could come up. I mean, it could be front end, back end, but you're focusing for a very specific amount of time, usually a few days, and you're taking those people out of their roles for those days to solve that issue and come to a quick solution and really enact change quickly. The issue with that is it's hard to be continuous about that.
Yeah.
So we actually changed the structure a little bit. The hierarchy is still the same. No one reports differently, but we created these new teams, and it was based off of a book that Paul Browse wrote. Paul Browse was the former CEO of Mark Andy, and he sits on our board of directors.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a great guy. So he wrote a book. It was about a third generation label company, and kind of the transition and how that's all working out between the different generations. And in this book, part of the structure of that company was to create these cross-functional teams that kind of encompass the different aspects of the company. So for us, it's our pre-order team, our order fulfillment team, and then our product development team. So my product development team really overlooks testing, new materials, obviously product development, some quality, vendor specifications, things like that. And then it's kind of the feeder into the pre-order team. The pre-order team takes care really of the front end of our processes. It covers anything from when we're gathering customer information all the way until our manufacturing order is printed out. And then our order fulfillment team, it covers from when that manufacturing order is printed out to when we actually collect the invoice from the customer. So it's really kind of an overall look at our entire company, but just dividing it into responsibility segments. And each of my siblings has a team that overlooks those responsibility segments. And then each of those teams is made up of an interdepartmental team, a cross-functional team. So it just kind of gave a structure to the continuous improvement that we were doing previously, because now these teams meet on a weekly basis. We write project charters for anything that comes up as an issue, and we report to our business improvement team, which is our board of officers. So each of our teams reports out usually on a once a month cadence, and we get our charters approved by that business improvement team. So we're able to kind of prioritize a lot of any type of issue that we're having, and really kind of focus our projects a lot better throughout the entire company as we prioritize kind of against each other's projects.
So how long have you been using the team formatting?
So we launched that in 2019.
Okay, so a little bit newer.
Yeah. So we're in our second teams because we do a full year with membership on the team. And then we reorged. Yeah. So we did a full year 2019. And then we decided to reorganize the team so other team members would get an opportunity to participate. And we did that reorganization like end of Q1 in 2020.
Okay.
So we'll be coming up again here probably in about another quarter on another reorganization to allow more team members to participate in that.
Very nice.
Yeah.
So can you tell me a bit about your experience as a young person in the industry?
Sure. I think my experience has been probably different than a lot of people. But I think that has to do a lot with my situation. So not only being a member of the family here, but also just the actual structure of Yerecic label and my role here and as a salesperson. And that's because, like I said before, we really immerse ourselves within the industries that we serve. So that has given me a lot of opportunities that I think are unique for a young person in the industry. And I think that's what really helped to excel my career quickly, was that I had all these opportunities to be face to face and learn from people that had so much more experience. My dad calls it baptism by fire. I laugh at that, but it's really true. He's done a great job at kind of putting me in those positions where you just have to take a risk and you just have to put yourself out there. And it's a really good learning experience and a really good way to kind of excel your career, like I said, so that you can get to a better place quicker. Because if you don't take those chances, you don't really, you don't push yourself.
Yeah. So what does that involvement look like? Has it been trade shows or like TLMI organizations, type like that?
Yeah. So it's a lot different now, and
Yeah.
I talk to a lot of people about this, about, the generation coming out of college right now, and just how resilient they are in responding to kind of the challenges that COVID has put out there, because so much of my career was built off of face-to-face interaction.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's exactly what it looked like. It looked like a lot of trade shows, a lot of traveling, a lot of dinners, entertaining. We really focus on, just being people's resource, being people's friend in the industry, making connections for them, doing the right thing when it comes to industry participation. We've learned that you can very easily attend a trade show, you can exhibit at a trade show, but that doesn't mean you're going to get the entire value out of that trade organization. You get out of it what you put into it. So a way that we function here is that we really like to encourage our team members to have a lot of participation in those industry organizations, because you gain those contacts, you gain that knowledge, and you become that thought leader. And it's kind of unique as a label company to do that. So it really makes you stand out.
Yeah, absolutely. So were there any challenges you needed to overcome or aspects of the industry that intimidated you, or were you were ready to be baptized by fire, you were all in?
Well, if there was one thing I could change, I would have loved to run a press.
Oh.
I think that that's something where I love to understand every aspect of what we do. And I do really have a good understanding growing up in the company. Me and all my siblings, we worked here since we were 16 years old, in one facet or the other, if we were on the admin side or if we were on the production side. But I would have loved to run a press. Me and my sister both still talk about it. So maybe one day we'll get into that. But I think that, I'm a very outgoing person, outspoken person. That might have something to do with being the youngest of 7 children. That might have contributed to that. So my role here, it was easy to take on kind of what was expected of me in terms of being sociable and, talking with customers and talking with people in the industry and kind of putting yourself out there. I think that's the first step. But I think that there's something that a lot of young people struggle with early in their career, and kind of feeling like they're an imposter. That imposter syndrome, you don't want to say the wrong thing or do the wrong thing when you're feeling like you're just beginning this new career, and like you're putting on some type of face, like you know more than you do or something like that. And I think specifically in a lot of male dominated fields, I think that's hard for young women. And the reason I say running a press is because the printing industry is so technologically deep and diverse. So I think having that background would have been a little bit helpful. I've seen a press run my whole life, but doing it yourself is a little bit different. So to kind of compensate for that, I try to just learn as much as I can, watch as much as I can, speak to as many people as I can, and most of all, listen. So whether that's internally when I'm learning about our materials, our technology, or externally when I'm at a customer and I'm learning about their needs, I really try to, listen a lot more than I speak. And I think that helps me to kind of compensate against feeling like I'm an imposter in my role so early on in my career. And I think leading the product development team has also been really important to building that confidence, because I've been able to make a lot of really great connections, a lot of really great learning within our team and at Yerecic label. So if anything, I think those have been kind of the biggest challenges to overcome. But, being a lifelong learner and having a good work ethic are, I think, the most important kind of weapons that you can employ against that feeling.
Yeah, I definitely think the industry can be intimidating just from how technical it is. And like you said, for a lot of young women coming in, it feels like, oh, kind of, am I welcome here? When it's an older industry, a lot of men, and you're like,
Yeah, it can be a lot, but there's a lot to learn. And, I would definitely say that, especially with the growth of digital, there's a ton of opportunity. And not even that, look at the graphic design side, look at the selling side, but we ourselves, we're growing our women on our floor here. And I'm really looking forward to that in our future and having women rise up through our production facility.
Absolutely. So you talked a bit about working on different committees. You are a part of the TLMI Workforce Development Committee, is that correct?
So I started there. I kind of moved around.
Okay.
I
Let's
was
discuss.
on the workforce development for a little bit, and then I moved to the tech committee for a little bit. When I was on the tech committee, that's when at the last print think that was held, I led 2 workforce development sessions. So that's probably a little bit of the confusion
Okay.
there. Yeah. So I actually worked very closely with the workforce development committee to hold those sessions. I really wanted to kind of bring in their thoughts on that. We did a panel. Just being young, I feel like that's one of my passions in the industry is how can we attract more people to the industry. So that always made a lot of sense for me. But in 2020, I actually kind of took a little bit of a step back, and I devoted a little bit more time to our external facing committees rather than our industry facing committees. So I focused a little bit more. I sit on IDDBA. They're the Dairy Deli Bakery Association, and I sit on their industry relations and their next generation committee. And then I am our contact for the Association of Plastic Recyclers, and I work with their label working group for PET. So that's really been a huge focus of mine this year is developing our sustainability initiatives, specifically for product development, and kind of being their voice on labeling from a converter that's our size and that also works within the food industry.
So you're reading my mind. Can you tell me a bit about some of your sustainability efforts as a company?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a perfect segue. So we, the last couple of years, have really been able to focus a lot more on our product focused sustainability. I think traditionally in the industry, we've been thought of as looking more internally and going 99.9% landfill free, which is a huge accomplishment that we're all really proud of. Yeah, one of my favorite things about working here. But because there wasn't a ton of development on the material side, we really didn't have a lot of success with the products that were in the market in like the early 2000s, early 2010s. But because a lot of the advancement within the last 5-6 years, we've really been able to kind of build our portfolio of our Sustain label line. So it's a product suite that focuses on the APR wash away adhesives that are critically guidance approved and tested. And it also focuses on recycled content materials and really kind of any innovation that reduces labels' impact for recyclers on PET.
That's amazing. Especially 99.9%. That is top
Yeah.
tier up there.
It's exciting. And we're still pushing. There's some small things like our ink jugs that we're trying to find a home for. How do we recycle those?
Yeah.
But besides that, we do a lot of Planet First buying. Our cores that go in all of our label rolls are 100% post-consumer recycled content. Our corrugated boxes that we use are a target 70% PCR. So we really try, and anytime that we're sourcing, put that environmental footprint first. And we're still looking for a lot of new things that we can do. This will be our second year with APR, the Association of Plastic Recyclers. We just joined the Sustainable Packaging Coalition, which is a little bit more consumer facing. They run the How to Recycle brand, and a lot of our customers are working with them. So we're trying to kind of coordinate with that a little bit more. And we're also in the process of replacing our life certification that was previously with TLMI with the Sustainable Green Printing Partnership. So we're in the process of getting that.
Wonderful. So I want to backtrack just a little bit to kind of bring in younger people to the industry, because I know you're passionate about it, as am I. Are there any programs or particular efforts Yerecic label is making it to employ younger people as a company?
Yeah, so kind of going off of sustainability, I think that is a huge piece of the attraction of working at us, or working at Yerecic label. I think that's something really unique to find at a printer. It's traditionally really thought of as this down and dirty job. I think that's something that we're all kind of struggling to fight against as we attract new talent. And I think really showing our commitment to that sustainability aspect of it makes us stand out a little bit. I think our kind of updated take on social media has really helped us as well. My sister's done a great job in kind of invigorating our presence there and allowing younger people to connect in a way that they understand and really see us through that lens. A lot of our values come across very well in the way that we've been running our social media recently. So I think those two things are both really important to kind of frame our company in the right way for the next generation. We also have a referral program. We get a lot of our best people from referrals. You'd be astounded by how many family members we have that work here. We have like 5 or 6 sets of brothers out on the production floor.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And we have
not even your family, just people.
Not even our family. And we have a ton of father-daughter, mother-daughter, cousins, aunts, nieces, and with like kind of pairings, I guess, within our administrative side. And I think that's a really great compliment for us as an employer, because you don't invite your family to work somewhere unless you really like working there. So I think that's a great program that we have that kind of allows our team members to invite their friends and share in our success as well. And besides that, we also, I think two things that probably really attract the next generation. On the administrative side, we have a really good take on flexibility with work from home. And obviously, Corona's impacted that a lot, right? But in terms of kind of work-life balance, I think that's really important. It's something that young people look for. And then on the production side, we have a program that's what we call a tier training schedule. So it really lays out the path for everyone from a finisher all the way up to a manager of production, and what that's going to look like for them, the steps they need to take there, the training that that's going to take, how their compensation will be reflected in all of that learning. And I think kind of providing that clear path to success when someone is interviewing is really powerful for a young person to kind of see their future, and what opportunity is within, not only within this industry, but at our company.
Right. You don't want to come into a position and kind of wander. You kind of want to know where you're going.
Yeah. Yeah, it really helps to provide direction. So we do a couple of different things. But it's funny, my dad always tells the story that about 10 years ago, he looked around and realized we don't have a lot of young people here.
Yeah.
So he really made a concerted effort back, in the early 2000s, early 2010s to kind of change the way that we were looking at the company and how we were communicating that, so that we could attract different generations, and that we could build our future.
So speaking of futures, what do you see for your future at Yerecic Label, or just in the industry as a whole?
So I'm very passionate about a lot of industry topics. Sometimes I think I might spread myself a little bit too thin. So I've learned that, it's best to focus and be conscious of where you spend your time, because your best work is going to be put out when you're solely focused on, individual projects. But going off of that, I think sustainability is really, really important to me. And we kind of have the internal side down here. Brian Hurst takes care of a lot of that here. But I really love being kind of that consumer mouthpiece. And I have such a unique perspective with my role here, where I get to see how all the pieces of the puzzle fit together. I get to hear from the brand owners, talk to the design agencies. I get to hear from our material providers. And I also get to talk to the trade organizations who are actually dealing with the end of the cycle, the recycling, and the actual end life of these products. So I think putting together all of those things and continuing in not only a sales role, but really a business and a product development type role, and kind of enacting change in the industry, is where I would see my future ending up. I think it's extremely important that the industry has representatives from people who are actually working within it, when they're in rooms with people that are kind of making those decisions about what's affecting our products. So I take a lot of pride in being able to represent our industry in that way in terms of sustainability. And I hope that I'm able to kind of continue with that. So I think that's kind of where my future will be at, not only at Yerecic Label, but really within not only print, but the other industries that we serve as well.
So bigger scale question, we're zooming out. The print industry as a whole, what would you like to see that future look like?
I would really just like to see it continue to grow, be more inclusive. The growth is crazy right now, and we all know that's going to continue, right? But I want to see it continue in a really positive manner that, again, is sustainably focused on end user solutions, right? So not just focused on what makes sense for us. And of course, there's economics to everything, right? Everything has a supply and demand aspect to it. I think we're moving in the right direction with that, but really being inclusive of the entire supply chain when we talk about that sustainable growth, talking to end users, talking to the buyers, and kind of understanding from a converter's aspect who we're selling to. And then in terms of the diversity, I want to see diverse people when I go to trade shows within the label industry. I want to see young people. I want to see women. And I think that you don't get those great perspectives and those new perspectives unless you open the doors to them and you're welcoming to them. So I think, taking the opportunity to create programs at your own organizations, taking the opportunity to mentor, to speak about, the future that is available in the print industry, because we are an industry that's so changing and so technologically advanced that it is something that that we should be talking about and speaking about excitedly. When I did that workforce development panel, I remember, I think it was Paul Teachout who was talking about we're competing with some of the greatest tech companies out there right now for talent. When we look at who's developing the new technology in our industry. So I think it's really important to show them that there is a future in print. It's an exciting future. And that this is where you can really build a career at that's maybe a little bit different than the Silicon Valley that you had in mind, but can be it can be really valuable, and it can be a great career with a ton of great people around. I mean, I don't think I ever would have thought that I would go and be a salesperson for labels, but I really enjoy it. I enjoy the people in the industry. I learn something new every day, and it's just so rewarding to do what I do and serve the industries that we serve. So I think, you know, getting that messaging across to young people is very important in terms of the growth of our industry.
I agree. And I would love to see a more sustainable, more diverse future for the print industry as well. And I think we're making progress.
I think we are too. I really do. I'm very active on LinkedIn, and I follow a lot of really great people from the print industry. And that's why I think I like it so much, because it's like reading a newspaper every day of their thoughts. And it gives me a lot of hope, because there's a lot of people that are not only working for sustainability, but just doing such new things. And you know, it's just very exciting to see the way that the industry is moving, and I'm happy to have a small part of that.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for you, and I'm so excited for the viewers of Aladel to get to experience our conversation. Is there anything else you would like to toss in at the end?
No, just thank you for the opportunity. I'm very honored that you reached out, and looking forward to a great future in this industry and a great future for Yerecic label.
Amen to that. Well, I will let you go then. Thank you again, and have a wonderful rest of your day.
Awesome. Thank you, Jordan. Talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.